Throughout my entire life, people have always told me things weren't going to work out, and for the first 20 years of my life, I believed them. That was until 12 months ago when I changed one simple thing, and as soon as I did, 12 months later, I have 6 figures in my bank account. So in this video, I want to share my story of how I went from zero to over $200,000 in just 12 months, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how I did it so you can do it too. But to start this story, we need to go back to the start. I grew up in New York. I went to school. I didn't really have the best grades necessarily, but I always knew when I got older, I wanted more. When I was growing up, we weren't piss poor, but we sure as hell did not have a ton of money. I could never really concentrate in class, and I knew all of the work we were doing was never gonna make me any fucking money. I don't know what it was, but ever since I was young, I always knew I wanted more out of life. Aside from schoolwork though, high school was pretty lit. Ever since I was a freshman, I was always friends with the older kids. Throughout all 4 years, I was never friends with any kids in my grade. I was always a lot more mature than the rest, and I always just seemed to fit in with the older kids a lot better. I was basically living my best life inside of high school because I always knew that I was never going to step foot inside of college. I smoked, I drank, I partied, I did all the stuff that was fun, but that was until things completely changed. The moment senior year hit, I was already over all of that shit and knew it was time to lock in and get ahead of everybody else. So I picked up 2 jobs and I just joined a copywriting program at the time. And this was when I started saying no to all the fun stuff that my friends asked me to do, and I'm not gonna lie, it was tough. I knew that the more I said no, the more we would drift away from each other. Perhaps it was a blessing in disguise though, because I don't want friends that aren't gonna push me to do great things. All they really cared about was having somebody to have fun with. And I think this was where everything started for me. Eventually, I finished the copywriting program, and then when I left school, I still had my 2 jobs, which were landscaping and valet. But this is when I picked up a 3rd job at a collections agency. I was working every single day. If I wasn't landscaping, I was doing valet. If I wasn't doing valet, I was working at the agency. My entire life was work. At the time, I thought this was the best decision, but all I was doing was isolating myself even more. My old friends slowly stopped talking to me. I didn't make any new friends, and fuck, even my girlfriend left me after 3 years of being together in this time period. I was completely alone. The only solace I found at the time was reading. I was reading dozens of books, completely immersing myself in the world of knowledge. But the thing is, I wasn't just reading books to learn, I was reading to escape reality. But the more I did this, the more comfortable I became in solitude. And it was at this point where things slowly started making sense. While I was still reading all of the time, I also started watching some podcasts. I heard a ton of people talking about several different ways to make money online, and this is where I fell into the side hustle rabbit hole. I watched thousands of hours worth of people talking about NFTs, Amazon FBA, wholesaling, drop shipping. You name a single side hustle and I can almost guarantee you that I have tried it at some point. For the next 6 months, I was doing all of this and still had 0 results to show for it. The one day I was debating on giving up, assuming that online money was probably just a scam, I came across this one drop shipping video. This guy seemed a lot more legit than all of the other people I watched, so I literally just bit the bullet and joined the community in his bio. The community I joined was $50 a month, and at the time, that was a lot of money for me. But I literally had nothing going for me, which also means I had nothing to lose. Anything was better than making $1,500 a month at a call center. I think that it was this that eventually led me into what I would do next, which was TikTok. Now, a lot of people think there's only one way to make money through TikTok, which is through the creativity program, but that is simply just not true. This was around November of 2023, which was when dropshipping was very popular. The Discord I was in, which was called The Collective at the time, had a dropshipping course. It was super confusing at the start, and I blew through like 2 or 3 products at the beginning until I found a winner, which was pretty unheard of. I was pumping out 4 to 6 TikToks a day and reposting those same videos on Instagram. And before I knew it, I was hitting back-to-back 10 to 20 million view videos, which completely shifted the way I thought about online money. In November, I finished off that month with over $30,000 in profit. And the moment I saw those numbers hit my bank account, I quit all 3 jobs the exact same day and never looked back. I think this was an important part to add to the story because it gave me a pretty solid grasp on the process behind editing and filming videos. The very next month was when TikTok Shop was born. At the start, content was super basic and super easy to make, which made it 100 times easier to go viral. This was when I was making faceless content, just showing the product and literally talking about what it does. I ended off my first TikTok Shop month with 17K profit, and from February to May, I was averaging around 20K throughout all of those months. I literally felt unstoppable. And I know at this point of the story, you're probably thinking this is where I made it, but that just wasn't the case. The next 4 to 5 months, I completely shit the bed. It's easy to stay motivated when you're winning, but once that stops and you take L after L after L, it is the most discouraging thing in the world, especially when you can't seem to make anything work anymore for months on end. Not to mention, both of my accounts that were generating my daily income completely got wiped on the exact same day. At this point, I was constantly doubting my content and second guessing myself, wondering how I hit all of these big months in the past, but now I can't do it with a gun to my head. All of the skills I thought I had, I didn't. I spent all of these months pushing myself, constantly trying to build momentum on all of these new accounts, but I had zero luck. I am so grateful that I was in a community where people picked me up when I was down, because it was nearly impossible to dig myself out of the hole that I put myself into. After months of struggling while I was asking myself if I'm even meant for this, or maybe I just got lucky, there were people hitting 40, 50, 60K months. And I was just sitting there thinking, Tino, what the fuck are you doing? You think all of these people that are constantly winning are thinking the way that you're thinking right now? Keep in mind, I was literally posting 1 to 2 videos a day, which isn't going to get you anywhere near those high 5-figure profit months. That same day, I stopped feeling sorry for myself and was grinding from sun up to sundown. I was posting 5 to 8 videos every single day, putting maximum effort behind every single video. And in October, I had my fucking breakthrough. I finished that month with 54K profit, all from one viral video that is currently sitting at 22 million views. This rebuilt the confidence inside of me that I needed. I proved myself that I knew how to make good content this entire time, and it wasn't just luck. Every single month after that, to this day, I have made nothing less than 25K a month. I learned that as important as repetition may seem, it will have you running in place for eternity. You can pump out as many videos as you want, but if they're all the same quality as the first one, which was shit, they're all gonna be shit. The most important lesson I've learned was analyzing my videos and getting feedback from other people. The skills that I've built to not only create content, but to pivot and adapt regardless of the situation guarantees limitless success for me. But none of this would be possible if I didn't grow this. Having a bulletproof mindset is everything, and without it, you're nothing. And that leads us to today, where in 30 days, I have made over $22,000 in profit on just one of my TikTok Shop accounts. And if you're wondering exactly how to start, make sure you click the video right here.